Good evening, poopsies. Before this video begins, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and tap the notification bell. Alright, I have tons of important advice for you today, financial life advice that I think will help many. I know will help many, for sure. This is priceless information. So again, if you're new here, subscribe because I do many of these life advice videos on this channel and I love doing them for you. I have my notes here. I had to formulate my thoughts before I started this. I was going to improv it, but then I thought, okay, there's way too much information here. I don't want my thoughts to scatter and then look back in the editor and then realize I forgot to mention something and then hold it over my head for the rest of the day. So, and I was also in one of those moods to give advice. So, I decided this is the best place to start. Before I even begin lecturing you, if you already know this stuff, great. Consider it relaxation, but I in no way am what you would consider rich. This is just what has worked for me personally and what has worked for many others as well, and what continues to work for general society. This is not me trying to sell you a course. This is not me telling you how to get rich quick. This is not me telling you it's guaranteed, because none of those are true. This is just for your financial literacy, education, knowledge, so you are prepared for life's circumstances, because emergencies will always come up, emergency expenses, situations you need to take care of, and you need to stay prepared. Inflation is a thing. It's very real. This will help you at least stabilize yourself through that, or prevent you from really suffering from it or feeling it. Now, if you have a minimum wage job, I can only imagine it's difficult to, you can take all of this advice, but when you have no capital, no funds to invest, no nothing, you're just living paycheck to paycheck trying to survive, of course this can be difficult, but maybe, just maybe, one thing you hear in this video will help you in some way, shape or form. Okay, and I guarantee, what I can guarantee is that I can at least give one bit of advice for every person watching, that they'll be like, oh, hey, I didn't think of that, or hey, I forgot about that, or hey, I didn't know that, you know. I'll ping something in your mind. And if you are maybe a financial advisor watching this and you already know more than me, then great. You know what? Maybe, again, I will just ping something in your head that you're like, oh, I forgot about that. Or, ooh, maybe I can consider that. Because, I mean, many people, you'd be surprised, even financial advisors, they don't take the advice they give others or what they have been taught and what they do for others. You know, it's kind of like the preacher not practicing what they preach. I mean, it happens. Just because you studied economics doesn't mean you necessarily take it to heart and do it as well. You know, go with whatever you've been taught. So let me just begin now by leading some points. And I believe you'll like what you have to hear. This is in no way a pressuring video where it's like, oh my god, I don't want to think about how poor I am right now, or like how much debt or bills I have to pay. Like, no, this is not even, this is trying to help you. This is just strictly leading you out of that. So if anything, you definitely want to hear, because one thing that's pertinent to your financial success and freedom is education, financial education. So I'm going to start out with the main point I think everyone needs to hear, and what many people, the reason many people spend big loads amount of money per year. Don't try to impress anyone. You want that nice bag, you want the nice car, the house, I get it, but is it really worth it? You have to consider all avenues. The richest people, in fact, don't carry any jewelry on them. And trust me, I've met many of them, many of them. Don't have that on them. They don't flash. They drive their old car for like 5-10 years. They have an old rusty house, but they like it because it's an aesthetic, and who cares about new impressive things anyway when you have loads of money in your pocket, you know. When I bought this house, you know, some people could say I'm a hypocrite, but when I bought this house, I really was like, I didn't want more than 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I was like, nope, I want something cozy and old, and you know, there were many reasons why I bought a new one, and I may or may not go into that because I don't want to talk about myself today, because it has nothing to do with this. I don't want to like share my story with this, share my personal information about my finances and everything. It's just not relevant for this video. All you need to know is I ain't rich, okay? I got some ways to go for that. But again, this has helped me incredibly get out of my debts, my situations, my poverty, honestly. There were moments where I remember I was like, wow, I could only afford like a bowl of Marachan today and maybe a cup of tea and a cup of coffee. And it does hit the emotional side a bit. Like, I'm almost starting to cry just thinking about it now. Like, wow, I went from that to this, like, in a matter of 5 years. I mean, it wasn't easy at all, but it took discipline, and you're going to need a lot of discipline to get yourself out of that situation, because it's very hard, especially when you have a looming debts over your head that you can't get rid of, and you're trapped in a situation where you're only getting yourself into even more debt. So, and a low income that was even under minimum wage. I mean, from there to there, I can tell you, like, I'm not like fed with a silver spoon as many people believe. At one point, my family was well off, but that was very, very extremely short-lived, like 2 years at most, and then we were back to like $50 left. I mean, no joke at all. Losing houses and everything. I mean, cars. Oh God. I mean, we've been through the spiral, so in no way have I ever been like spoiled or anything. So I understand how the value of a dollar works and what a dollar really is. And it's valuable. And when you pinch pennies, you will realize the importance of putting money aside and using your money for wiser terms. So money means a lot to me because it has taught me a lot, and experience and has made me more matured over the years and better able to take care of myself, be more independent, and like I said, discipline myself. So again, don't try to impress anyone. Like, it's not worth it. Over the years I've learned, like, buying nice things, and it's just like, your friends don't care. If anything, they're mad at you, they're jealous of you. I'm gonna be real, they don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you happy with loads of money in your account. Like, they could care less. They'd rather see you suffer. They want to give a reason to help you out of something or help through. People get bored very easily. They want that for themselves. They don't want that for you. Who could care less about you? I mean, it may be very cold to say, but in terms of money and business, you kind of have to have that mindset. Screw friends. They have not helped me in any way financially. They have not gotten me out of a situation. If anything, once I started getting a bit more better off, that's when I started giving my friends money, and I mean in the thousands of dollars. And was it worth it? No. Did it keep any of my friends? No. Did it keep them asking me for more money every month? Yes. Yes, because that hurt my pocket. That was starting to hurt my pocket. And I was being stupid and young and irresponsible. So if you're young, if you're fortunate enough to come across large lump sums of money, maybe you win the lottery, or I don't know, you have a YouTube channel with like 10 million subscribers, be responsible. Don't all of a sudden buy that Tesla and that mansion on the Beverly Hills, because who are you trying to impress? Do you have friends to impress? That was my first thought when I bought my second car after the first one got wrecked. I said, do I have friends to impress? That was my first question when I went at the car dealer. In my head, I was like, do I have friends to impress? No. How many passengers am I going to end up driving at most in this lifetime of this car until I trade it again? 5, maybe 10 at most. I can't even think of that many people. Who's going to be in it 99% of the time? Me. Or my mom, who I let borrow it once in a while to go get something in the store or something, Do I go out much? No. Am I trying to impress anyone? And pull up to the parking lot and have the keymaster, what do you call it, the valet, drive my car to the No. I barely even eat out at restaurants. I mean, people spend an average of $2,500 a year on restaurants. When I heard that, I was like, first, that made me feel poor. Second, I was like, wait, no. That just means I don't spend that much on the restaurant. Like, I'll probably spend $250 a year. 10% of that. I really don't eat out. Like, that's one of the biggest ways of money. Like, do you know, if you have a partner, like, how much more romantic it is to just cook mac and cheese at home, or noodles, or pasta, whatever. Like, just go to Publix with them, hold their hand, go to the freezer aisle, get a few things, and go back home and be all cozy and save money. Okay, it's such a big way. And you could get a bigger, nicer plate with more ingredients on it than a $42 tip the server, plus plate, plus drink, plus appetizer, plus dessert for one person. And I'm saying that just for one person. Nowadays, like $45 easily per person at a restaurant. Is it worth it? For $45, you can feed yourself. Heck, you can. I used to stretch that out for 3-4 days. You can stretch it out long, okay? Especially if you have leftovers. I mean, that's how I saved the lump sum of my money to buy this house. Cook at home. Buy in bulk. There's like, at Walmart, chicken breasts, like 10 pieces for like $5, I think. I mean, do you know how much meat that is? And, no, I think it was like 10. I don't know, but it was cheap, okay? You can stretch it out, okay? Go to the Winn-Dixie and just get yourself like a whole chicken, or, okay, if you're vegetarian, vegan, I don't know what you get, quinoa, eggplant, whatever, slap something together, you'll figure it out, okay? A head of broccoli, a head of lettuce. You can make cabbage stew. It's so delicious, so nutritious, great for the winter. Check out my last video, the Turlitava with my mom, the cooking video. I mean, that one, you could stretch that out a little bit. I don't know if that one's financially, if that one's economical, but my point is you can make something up, okay, and it'll be much cheaper than eating out all the dang time, okay? That's one big money waster. And who are you trying to impress? The waitress that won't even remember your name tomorrow because she goes through 200 people a day? All right. So, even people give waiters, waitresses slack. Do you know how much money they make? Okay, anyway, especially on a good weekend. But they're not trying to impress anyone, but they be stashing it though. Do you know what I mean? So, don't try to impress anyone. End of story. Credit score. Next thing. So, this is one of those that people most commonly are financially what we call illiterate about, and that's okay. Honestly, 5 years ago, I was like, what's a credit score? Like, I literally was like, what's a credit score? Like, I didn't even... Anyway, and I didn't know I was already accumulating points, and it was adding up, by little things I was So, the very first thing I did, especially if you're like a beginning starter, I opened a finger hut. Okay. And that was like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I think even. I don't even remember. But that helped me get like things like my YouTube channel started. I was buying props on there for videos, and I was accumulating, the monthly credit, the debt that you have to pay, and that was earning me my credit, and it shows even for free your FICO score on there. And it was just great, for a beginner to secure myself my first car purchase. You needed some credit history, and that wasn't enough because you needed several $1,000s worth of credit history, like credit cards, which I didn't have at the time, so I had to get someone to co-sign for me at the time. But still, it was a start, and that also helped me, after that and some car payments and phone payments, secure my first apartment approval. Okay. And so, like, after the apartment, then that secured the house approval, and it's like a step ladder. So with finance, you never want to jump too much ahead, jump the gun. You have to take it realistically, one step at a time. I think the average American's score is like 704 or something like that, and there's something coming out lately that says that's going to drop by up to like 50 points now for everyone because there's some change. And it's like, people are like, oh my god, as soon as we get up on the step ladder a little bit, the rich people want to knock us down. That's not true. That's something financially illiterate people would say because it's not their fault. It's not, why is it someone's fault that was maybe raised in a circumstance better than others? Like, they were born into a world that, like, almost of their choosing. I believe part of it's their choosing because their soul decided, but at the same time, like, realistically, like, they come here, they forget everything that they even know. So the random happenstance of you being born into a poverty family versus a rich family is irrelevant to rich people knocking. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, what? They're just minding their business, living their lives, like they have nothing to do. Like, So I think they more mean like the headmasters of the government and everything. But regardless, headmaster, that sounds like royalty. Like, am I in Britain? Wait, Brexit, wait, what? Regardless, see, I need to clean up some of my financial literacy as well. But my point is, it is not anybody's fault but your own. You have to have that stone mindset of, I am responsible for my future. It is no one's fault or my own. The fact that my score dropped 50 points means I can only improve it even more. Okay? In a video game, do you give up if you lose 50 health points? No, you keep attacking that enemy, and then you're going to eventually gain your health back and more. You're going to gain 300 more. So if you had happened to put yourself in a situation where your score dropped, that is only opportunity for growth. If you're already at 850, it's boring. What growth do you have? Like, what next? Challenge yourself. It's going to be an exciting journey for you. So your credit score is important to make purchases, because maybe you need that loan for home improvements, repairs, emergency expenses, medical bills. You want to pull out a credit card, fine. You really want to just be safe and make your daily purchases on a credit card rather than a debit card, especially at the gas pump, fine. You need a decent credit score to get a decent credit card. And again, with time, with history, the machine will see that you are reliable and will increase your score over time, thus increasing your credit ability, the amount of money you're able to withdraw from cards and utilize, basically. And you never want to go above like 40% utilization. That's a bit of a stretch. 60 max, like 80 beyond is just flat out dangerous and irresponsible, unless you really need it and have no choice. Insure everything. Now let's talk about income. There's passive and active income. So passive income is the way to go to get out of the enslavement of working 9 to 5 just to survive, which the majority of people live like that. There was like a perfect demonstration of that. Like there's a train going in circles, and then they remove one train track from behind the train and put it in front of the train, and it has to keep doing that so the train can keep moving in circles. And that was the perfect example of living paycheck to paycheck. Like without that track, you derail. So many people live like that and have no choice but to depend on one sole job or income. But people don't realize the amount of time they have. At the end of the day, I understand you're exhausted. The last thing you can think about is a second job that may bring you passive income or may not, or it's too risky or something. But it is one of the only ways to get out of that trap that many put themselves in. And life is just almost easier handed to you that way. Like, here you go. Like, you almost at first have no choice but to do that because it's what you've been taught. That's what the majority know. And you're constantly fed in your mind, like, go to school, get a degree, educate yourself, get that job, secure yourself, so you don't end up screwed in the future. Oh my God, the economy is collapsing, blah, blah, blah. You hear all this stuff. And it's like you almost have no choice but to follow that path because you weren't informed by better sources. That's not the only way to go, and that you don't have to suffer anymore. So there was a perfect demo of this, that if you work a 9 to 5, you have that sweet spot time, 6 to 8 in the morning to do something about it, and 6 in the afternoon to 10 at night. Instead of sitting and watching Netflix, you have like 4 hours, and 2 hours, that's 6 hours extra a day to figure it out. And you still get 8 hours of sleep. 6 hours is more than a part-time job. That's like a part-time job and a half. You can have like 3 extra side incomes in that time, passively, and make them work for you and make money while you sleep. So that you don't have to feel as pushed in your job. You can enjoy your job now because you have more money, and now you look at your job as just another thing that earns you money, and you don't have to tell a single person, which you shouldn't tell. You shouldn't tell your boss that you're working on side jobs. You should never tell your coworkers. Only brings envy, hatred, jealousy. Countless experience with people, countless times even like trying to be nice with them and like bringing them food, coffee, donuts, and then it's just like, they look at you as like, who are you? Like, I can get that for myself. I can go to Starbucks. It's not the way to a person's heart. Let's put it that way. Okay? It's nice to have a social life. It's nice to have friends. I don't mean to like bash it in any way, but personally, at least right now, that side of my life is just derailed, like over, because it only brought hurt, pain, financial loss. It's a bad cycle. It's like when you're in that hurt and pain and then you let it affect your finances, you spend too much and then you're just derailed completely. So it's important to take care of yourself and spend time alone. Sometimes you need to isolate yourself, close that door, work hard for 1 to 5 years, and you will get ahead of others. Just 6 months of working your butt off on anything you do, even if it's that little passive job you only have like 2 hours on the day to do. You're a mother of 5 and you only have that much time, fine, but use that time wisely, and 6 months of that will get you 5 years ahead of people, guaranteed. So you're always going to realize there's more challenges, and when you think you're on the top, there's beyond what you can imagine, so just shoot for the stars, okay? Multiple streams of income. Passive mostly, but you have to have something active. I mean, I don't even like the term passive because it's not really passive. You still have to actively manage it, actively keep track of it, watch it, actively push it to keep maintaining its passiveness. So to an extent it's passive, but nothing really ever is solidly passive, realistically, like reality. But you know what I mean now. Your phone is a money-making machine. I didn't even write this down, but that's a perfect passive way. Wealthfront, Robinhood, Betterment, Fidelity, Forex, all those, like stock market apps, retirement account apps, savings accounts, those kind of apps, Instagram, blogging, vlogging, build a website. It's going to generate you, write a book, write an ebook, look at what others are doing, and what works for them, like if they have a monthly subscription box, why not try to start that, online shops, Amazon FBA, fulfillment, whatever you want to do. So investments is the next thing. Before I end the phone conversation, I just want to say, the topic about the phone. Your phone can be used for entertainment, Netflix, Showtime, YouTube, or it can be used for your benefit. How about invest in Netflix and Starbucks instead of buying the subscription or the daily coffee? Make the coffee at home. Like, what happened to everyone? I don't understand. Like, is everyone lazy now? Like, I just don't understand. Like, personally, I'm lazy myself, but we want convenience so bad, but it takes that one person to cut away their convenience to make others suffer less. Does that make sense? The world's richest people today have cut their convenience, have worked their behind off for decades, at much of a risk to make other people's lives easier. Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, people who build empires, Warren Buffett, who has actually made lives easier and convenient. Like, I'm trying to think of more influential individuals beyond Tony Robbins. You get the point. So I just don't want to take too much of your time on one topic because this video is going to be long enough, but I have to be disciplined myself and switch from topic to topic relevantly. But you can use YouTube to make a channel. You can use Netflix to invest, Starbucks invest, Twitter, promote your business. Instead of looking at the next gossip about Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill, like, is that going to make you money? Is that relevant to your life? Think about that. And time is very important. Like, I just realized the other day, like, wow, half of my 20s are gone and wasted mostly with the wrong people. I cannot get that time back. And do you know how mad it made me? My eyes were watering. I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, I cannot get that valuable time, those 5 years back. It's important. I had to go through it for my personal growth, spiritual experience, etc. But the anger resided within me, the feeling of anger and guilt almost, because I was like, wow, I just spent so much time on the wrong people. And that's gonna be your 20s, okay? But you're only human. But I mean, you can't be too hard on yourself, but you have to take those experiences and shine a light on them and say, you got this, okay? If I didn't go through that, I wouldn't know what was better for me today. So, but the fact that I realized that time was gone, I'm not getting younger, I can now challenge myself and use my time even more wisely, because people are like, oh, that's 2 hours. Today gonna kill me if I sit down and watch that movie. Okay, it's fine, whatever. We all gonna do the self-care, time off, fine. But day after day after day of doing that, consider, is this the best thing for me? Sit down with this for a while. Meditate on it. Ask yourself, am I happy sitting an extra 2 hours a day on Netflix? Am I happy with my life now? Do I feel the desire, the urgency, the drive, the motivation to change it now? And if I don't, is something missing from my life that I wish I had? And if the answer is yes to any of those questions, then maybe reconsider that Netflix. If you're happy with your life, you don't have the drive, the willpower, the motivation to change, you don't feel like anything needs to change, you're happy with it, fine, continue. Do what makes you happy, okay? Even the Buddha will agree. But if you're watching this video, I have a feeling that's not you. One thing to succeed is to never be happy, to never be satisfied. That's the drive. Motivation comes and goes. People often ask, how do you get motivated? I don't. Hardly ever do. Does anyone? It's a fading thing. What fades isn't real. It's your drive, your inner fire, your inner willpower. The most painful thing. Love is pain. Love is pain, seeing pain. What you love will suck. It's gonna suck to get up every day early and keep going. It's painful. It will push you. But is it worth it? Would you rather do that and fight for victory than sit under a blanket watching your favorite show every day? Which is more interesting, more exciting? Would you rather watch the show or actually live, breathe, and be the show? Be those movie actors that you see? So, in terms of investing, think about the stock market and commodities, okay? Those are my favorites personally, the least amount of risk. Now, people can argue and say gold is not a way to get rich. It really isn't. I think it was a 0.9% yield after 45 years. I mean, it's stable, though. It's one way to safely put your money, as if you put it into a 0.1% savings account or a certificate of deposit. That's about as safe as it gets. I mean, it's not gonna make you wealthy, but if you don't feel comfortable putting most of your money in a bank, then maybe that's the way to go. Get gold and silver. They have their fluctuations like the stock market. I mean, they are the stock market, okay? There are many producers, manufacturers of bars, and they have their own stocks, and they fluctuate as well, and the stock market is risky. However, it doesn't have to be. You can use robo-advisors to, for the most part, safely invest your money through a retirement account or just for a short-term yield, short-term savings, or long-term. I would get a low-risk one. I wouldn't go with a medium to high-risk, especially for a robo-advisor. They cannot predict sudden changes. I've definitely noticed that. So I would go with if you were to invest your own, do your research, listen to the news, watch the news. If there are more sellers, it drops. If there are more buyers, it increases. So that's how it works. And hold it. Be patient. Don't just sell and panic when it goes down $10 a stock. Like, wait it out, you know. It's still money that you're gonna put somewhere. Would you rather put it in a gold bar in your safe, in your bank account, checking, cash lying in your wallet, or in something that has the energy potential to earn you more? I choose this. So invest at least 10% of your earnings income. I know that's very hard to do. I mean, that's something most people don't do. I mean, really, it's even that's a risk of it your own. For beginner, I would agree more with like 1 to 5% realistically, because like to give up 10% now is just like forget about it. You know, most people push that aside. But if you really want to jump in, make sure you're knowledgeable and you do your research first, okay? That extra few hundred will soon turn into an extra $10, $20, $30 long term. You know, yeah, robo-advisor retirement account will have way more yield than a savings account, way faster. Just be mindful. Do your research. Would you like to be taxed on that money now, or when you pull it out? And be mindful of the 10% tax as well when you pull out. But don't pull out. Think long term. Invest in things like AI, robotics, health and pharmaceuticals, food and drink, you know, things people will need and use and utilize for the future advancement. Climate change, vegan, some even say cannabis. I disagree with cannabis, but anyway, hold it for 10 years or more. You know, it will inevitably have its differences like everything else, but you know, that's up to you to decide and do your research. I cannot tell you. I am not a financial advisor. I do not work with any of that. You know, I cannot even tell you at all out of experience. I can just say what has worked for people. A little, including myself, but that's on you. You know, I cannot give you that kind of detailed advice on what to invest in. That's on you. So, consider even jewelry, diamonds, emeralds, sapphires, you know, ruby, not only gold and silver, you know, something that has a steady value over time. A piece of furniture will devalue. A car will devalue. A new car is the biggest financial regret many people have. With this, I disagree and agree, because, like, in general, I mean, you need a new functioning car. Like, people say go for a 2-3 year old car and lease it. So it's not yours. You know, you just like rent it, and it's old enough to where you avoid that 30% devaluation when it goes off the lot to basically 20-30% and drives for a little while. You know what I mean? But it's up to you. I mean, I've had leases and loans. I just personally, I'm indifferent. It's almost the same. It's just, would you rather use that, let's say, $20,000 for that car? Would you rather buy it, which goes toward your credit limit? Or would you rather use that credit limit for something more, like growing your business, maybe $10,000 for one business, $10,000 for another? And then lease the car, so you don't have to use your credit, you know? So, savings account, compound interest, and APY, so annual percent yield. There are some savings accounts that have like 1.75, 2%. Very rarely higher unless you go with an online bank. Usually online banks Compounding interest. I would say that you should go with that and put a little bit of that aside towards that, because like it's really not going to get you long-term growth, but at least it'll keep your funds secure. People tend to rely on that, but you really need a lot of money to have any sort of significant growth over time. I guess you could argue and say the same is true with stocks, but we can agree to disagree. But yeah, it's good to save, put money aside instead of that $5 coffee every day. Put it toward an investment. Why not? To get money, you need to be consistent. Okay? Have a money mindset. You want money, keep it. Have it around if you love it so much. Go with what works for many people for many years. Only listen to what works to make you money. Don't listen to the people saying, oh, don't quit your job to start your business. It's too risky. It's scary. Oh my God, what if you fail? So what? I can just go back to my job or another job. Big deal, right? You want to shrug those opinions off and those kind of mouths in your ear all the time. You don't want to be around that all the time. You want to be around them to teach them for a better mindset. And you want to be around people who are even better than you at that, so that you can constantly be fed new information. And you want to be around like-minded individuals who are about at the same pace as you in regards to your financial education, so that you could maybe share what you don't already know with each other and help each other grow and improve. Why not? Instead of putting each other down and saying, oh. So how to save? Obviously, you put income aside. You constantly, and I'm repeating myself like a broken record, but you discipline yourself. You have to be consistent. You have to constantly remind yourself until you get used to it. You build a habit. It's just like building a habit of buying cigarettes. Why not use that $7 and invest it every day? Do you know you have literally thousands of dollars grown by the end of the year? And then there's your new car. Many people do that. They'll get the earnings of their investment and buy the new car, and pay it in full, so they don't owe anything and it's done. Rather than getting a lease or a loan, that's another option. If you hit it big on that, it's kind of like a lottery, but you have more of a chance with the stock rather than the lottery, honestly. Unless you already won. But, that's how people fail. Even the biggest of lotto wins have failed because they don't have a money mindset. If you have a money mindset, you can take yourself out of poverty and make others take themselves out of poverty. And with that, you make more money by taking other people out of poverty. You have a money mindset because you realize where you can plant the seed to grow more. And how you can help other people as well. But it doesn't have to be a difficult thing to save, People say save for a rainy day. Why not just save so I can have more money? Why does it have to always rain? Why not let it rain money? So I want you to start thinking about that. People say money is the root of all evil. It's scary. It only brings bad things. Does it really? Do you know the trillions of dollars used globally to help benefit the world? And if it weren't for money, that your life would be a living hell. You would have to hunt for beaver fur and trade it. Where's the Starbucks then? And your convenience and Netflix? Think about that. So money has brought you literally everything. when to spend in yourself. Invest in yourself instead of buying the Gucci bag. Buy a book. Educate yourself financially. There's thousands of books on financial education and literacy. I mean, you don't even have to go to college. Why are people not afraid to invest $30,000 in college? And they're so afraid to invest $5,000 in the stock market. Buy $5,000 worth of books. How about that? See where you go, where life takes you. Invest in yourself. Okay? It's so important. What is in here? Your knowledge is irreplaceable unless you hit your head too hard. And even then you can relearn all of this stuff because you already have all the books lying around to relearn it. Priceless. Priceless. A book is literally priceless. Invest in yourself. If you ever have a question, would I rather spend on this or not? Think about this for a while. Gucci bag in this hand. $1,000 in this hand. Look at your left hand and say, would I rather have this Gucci bag? Or would I rather have this $1,000? You're gonna pick the $1,000. And then your temptation to spend will immediately stop. Watch. That goes with anything, even your coffee, I'm telling you right now. The credit cards and loans. So this one is a long one because it goes into refinancing and balance transfers. So the subject of credit cards, people make the mistake of just letting it accumulate, and I've spoken to people who literally make so much income and they're just miserable because they have so much credit card debt and they can't get out of it, and they're not financially literate enough to know how to get out of it to begin with, because getting out of it doesn't just mean, oh, I have to make more money. Realistically, how am I going to get out of bad debt? No, you can do things proactively, take steps to at least alleviate the debt, okay? There's many programs, many offers, many deals with different loan companies that you can do. Now, if you have 5 credit cards with 10 grand, let's say, you can get one big loan to pay off that debt and have a lower monthly payment, pay it off faster, and a lower APR and interest, okay? So there's many of those. All you need to worry about is your score to get approved. That's it. And it will just make your life so much easier. Refinancing is another option, maybe for a house or anything else you want to do, really. I mean, a house is one of the most common ones to refinance if you want a lower monthly payment. The only thing is you extend the term of the loan again. It's like starting over, except the only difference is now your payment is lower and your interest rate is lower. So if you really want to feel like you're starting over on your commitment, then you can do that, but you won't get much out of your house if you decide to sell it almost right away or pretty soon, in a couple of years, so think, can I hold on long term? Can I not be irrational? Or do I really need the money now? And do I really need to save more money now and refinance? So there's many things to consider. Make a pros and cons list. And the one that's definitely a big help is a balance transfer. So if you have a credit card debt on one card that is a high interest rate, and then you get approved for one that is a lower interest rate, and they ask for $0.00 for the first 12, 15 months, 18 months, whatever. Get that, okay, so that you can pay off that card in the first year, year and a half with 0 interest. And once it goes back to the interest is lower, and now you have paid off most of your debt and you can get rid of it easier. Always tackle your biggest debt first, okay? Then the smaller ones. accounts, people make the mistake of tackling the little ones and the big ones. The little ones are measly little pests. They're easy to take care of. Like, let's say one account at 200, one at 600, one at 800, and then one at 10,000, and then one at 25,000. You want to tackle that 25 beast and that 10 beast, the other hundreds. Minimum payment. I mean, you can a little more than minimum. I disagree with sticking with minimum, but I say this because you want to get rid of the biggest thing first. Now, in terms of credit score, I would say the best thing to do is to tackle the little ones, pay them off, because then it'll boost your score when you have less accounts. I forgot to mention this on the credit score, that people forget that accounts that are old, too many accounts, and too much credit utilization are the biggest wreckers of your score. So keep that in mind. How many accounts do I have open? How old are they? Let me pay off the oldest one first, and the one that I can pay off soonest. Those are going to increase your score. And a lot of times it's good if you have no debts at all or little debt that you get a credit card for your daily purchases, because it's safer and you can pay that off every month easily. And when you give a lump sum to our credit card, it boosts your score up as well. So I forgot to mention that part, but now there are such things as retirement accounts. People forget about this, so I say that sarcastically, but it is difficult for some people to think about the future long term ahead, and like most people say, oh, I better live now and then think about it, worry about it later, and then they are 60 years old, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, now I have to, like, I don't know, example, bag groceries now because I didn't think about it. I was spending all my money on booze and bad things when I was younger, and now I'm too old, I'm in pain, and oh my god, now I have to get up at 6 in the morning and go to work instead of enjoying and traveling to Italy and having wine on a balcony and just enjoying the breeze, and because I wasn't thinking about long term my future. Now I'm being harsh, but I want to hit the emotion a little bit because I want you to worry about your future. That's the only thing you should worry about. And when you do, when you really mean it, when you really invest in your time and yourself, your future will be so bright and beautiful that that worry will be channeled into nothing but good things coming your way, because I'm talking about a good kind of worry, a good kind of healthy amount of stress, because there's people who I've come into contact with who I was so stunned. I mean, have not had that upbringing of a mindset to think about the importance of that dollar you save today, that you can use it for tomorrow when you're sick and in bed and you can't move and get up, And unfortunately, I've had to go through that as well, to realize that I have had to put my foot on the ground, pencil to paper, and really get to it so that I never experience that again, because it's an awful feeling when you're unwell, unhealthy, immobile, and then you're in bed and you realize, I'm losing money. I have nothing but a side. I have to get better and healthy ASAP or I'm going to destroy my life. And it's not a fun thing at all, especially when you have nothing to secure you underneath, like a belt. So I genuinely worry for people who say, I would rather travel and spend all my money now and buy nice things than worry about it later. You just spent all those years living fast and young, but you can't do that when you're 40, 50, 60 and your back hurts like crazy and you can barely board an airplane. I mean, okay, nowadays I should say 50, 60, 70 because we saw what J-Lo and Shakira could do at 40. No, but I mean, when you have money, you can those things, you can hire a personal trainer, fitness trainer, and eat healthy and do all the yoga all day, even have time for it, and look that good as them on stage. My point is, think about your old self, okay? How fragile and young you once were, and think about how fragile you're gonna be when you're old, okay? Take care of your future self. Give it love, send it a vet account, okay? So they don't have to worry. Alright? That helps me, I don't know, hit the emotions. Different retirement accounts for different people. If you're working for someone or self-employed or business owner, whatever works for you, you pick and choose. There's traditional IRA. There's all sorts of retirement accounts. I'm not going to go into it. Dividends, if you have capital, consider putting money toward that. It will give you a monthly annual yield from a stock. Like you put 50 grand in Starbucks and you'll get annually whatever, 1,000, I don't know how much it is. But that's another option to research on your own time. I'm not going to go into it. Tax deductions, make sure you utilize your deductions, okay? And don't just say like, oh, I'm lazy, I don't want to do this now, I don't want to do the paperwork. This is the biggest killer, especially for business owners. You want to deduct everything, okay? That's one way to go broke fast as a sole proprietor. If you don't take advantage of your deductions and milk it for its worth, okay? Cryptocurrencies, I don't agree with it. Tried it, epic fail. I've known someone who is literally epic fail. Gotten into 100,000 debt because of it. It's not cool. Okay, I don't agree with cryptocurrency. It's too risky. They say Bitcoin's gonna go to 100 grand, then a million, then 10 million. Honey, we'll be gone before that even happens. I mean, I don't know. I just disagree with it. It's way too volatile and not secure. I would more go with what has worked for literally a century. I mean, okay, I'm exaggerating, 3 decades, okay? Look at stock market growth, then see. Cryptos are still, they're as new as a new stock. I wouldn't risk it, okay? Listen to the experienced, okay? And now I'm gonna talk about real estate, land, and tax. So if you decide to buy properties, make sure to remember that you gotta pay tax on those properties annually, okay? And hold them. Don't just sell them and get rid of them. Hold the piece of land, because that's like putting money in a savings account. You forget about it. It's always there, ready to be sold, especially a piece of land between different homes, because young new families will want to buy a house close by, especially if it's a new developed community that's up and coming, town or area, city, whatever, residential area you reside in. Secure yourself that piece of property and hold it. Pay tax on it annually. It's not that much. It's a few hundred a year. It's worth several thousand, tens of thousands. Hold it tight, okay? And if you really must sell, wait until you think it cannot peak anymore. And you'll know that peak number because it's been there before, okay? And I'm talking before the crash, 2008. Real estate, it is a liability if you pull you sell the house, you'll get that money in the tens of thousands if you wait at least 3 years. And you can use that money to even put into the house and then sell it and then get even more money out of it. You can't do any of that with an apartment. You're only throwing your money away. For people who don't want that looming debt, they really want to increase their net worth as if it matters, fine, rent an apartment. You can also increase your net worth once you pay off your house. You just have to be more patient than someone who would rather rent an apartment, you know? And if you can't afford it, fine, that's another thing. But homes are much cheaper for more space, long term. And your mortgage doesn't go up, rents go up. So in 10 years, that 2,000 mortgage, your rent in an apartment of half the size will be 2,500. You'll live large for much cheaper. Think about that as well. You will have way higher credit score than others, and an advantage many people don't have owning a home with higher monthly payments, you know, more freedom, more privacy. You don't gotta pay a bed deposit, you know, I can't even think of it, guys. I mean, there's endless advantage to owning a home. It has provided nothing but blessings. I would definitely secure that above all else. If you have a steady, patient mind and want to feel like you have a base and ground yourself somewhere and you want to stay there for, like, think forever, think eternity. You gotta have that mindset with money. You gotta think long, 10, 20, 30,000 years. Like, you want to think as old as you can, so that the time that has passed waiting on growth will feel like a split second, and before you realize it, you'll wake up and you're like, now I got money. So, the richest people are extremely patient. Think of a fox waiting to capture its prey. I mean, or a better example, there's an animal that can literally wait like hours and days in place. I can't think of it now. Praying mantis, I don't know. Okay, but you don't gotta pray about money, just pray about your patience, because you need to work on that. Flipping homes. I personally disagree with house flipping. It's something that is oversaturated now, and many people do it. Everyone's a house flipper nowadays, right? I mean, even homeowners, they think like, oh, I'm just gonna flip my house, and then I personally know someone who has done that for, I can't even count how many years now, literally decades, and it has not gotten them into a better financial situation than when they started. I can imagine. I don't know too much, but like, it has not made them rich. Okay, so I'm gonna put it bluntly. It has maintained their income, but has not made them feel in any particular way like they can just be splurging money like someone with income. You know, like, you have to be very disciplined and hold on to your money and invest it in the house, and it's just not fun. It's a lot of work unless you really have a passion for it, and you know, it's like fun for them and stuff. They're passionate about it, but unless you're doing like $500,000 up transactions, it's just not gonna be like splurge type income, you know. And so I would really consider that. You can work your way up to it if you can handle the stressors of it, but is it really worth it unless you're passionate about it? No. If you think it's just gonna be a way to get rich quick, watch out, be careful. Make sure you have that money mindset, okay? So, diversified portfolio, you want to make sure even with stocks, like, you just get a little bit of everything, like many different things, and that work, that goes with what works. So that one thing fails, you have like 10 other things that are working for you constantly. Spread far and wide, okay? Educate yourself. And forget far and wide, but not that far and wide, okay? Like, be realistic at the same time. Like, you have to be down to earth realistic. But it would be nice and ideal to have multiple passive streams of income that you can forget about. That's ideal. Or assets that you can just put away and like, I totally forgot I had it. Assets versus liabilities. So an asset is something that earns you money. A liability is something you owe, okay? So consider that when making major purchases. Make the money work for you. Don't suffer anymore, okay? Don't work for the money, you make it work for you. You whip it to work for you. Don't enslave and entrap yourself any longer. Think of something people need or really want. Want is nice, but if you're to be a success, make sure it's something people really want. Why is Gucci successful? They made their product something people feel that they really want. Not for me, but for other people. You're not going to please everyone, but if it's something people need, they need it. That's like really, 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 really want. Like they need it. Like they can't live without it. That's even better. More ideal. Something that'll make people's lives easier than it already is. More convenient and affordable. Make sure you're cheaper than your competitor. Or if you're more expensive, make sure you're better. And that you can make a profit. Just because you're cheaper doesn't mean you make a profit. You can make $100 million in 1 year, but make minus, I'll make this funny for you, $1 in profit. You're still broke. Make sure you pay yourself first, okay? That's important. That's your profit. That's your biggest achievement there. And live within your means, not beyond, like, especially the investment thing considered. If you really want to grow your money fast, easy, quick, speedy, reliable, invest 20% even of your income. Even 50, if you really keep your expenses to a bare minimum and you really live small. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Get lazy people to do a hard job because they'll find an easier way to do it. It helps with your business long term. And that's it, you guys.